Hello everyone, and welcome to the first ever live stream of Rift Studios. We're gonna wait a little bit just to double check that the audio is correct and to wait for a little more people to join. While we do that, we're also gonna pour ourselves a hot cup of coffee and just get in the mood.
All right. Wanna do it?
Yeah,
Don't spill the coffee, man.
I won't do it.
So Harvey, if you are there, let us know if there is anything with the audio or video. And welcome to the stream, by the way. Strong.
Okay. Can you double check the audio over there? Hello,
Maybe
hello.
it should be okay. One second.
Yeah. Testing. All right, awesome. Has anyone already downloaded the beta for the roasting update? Hopefully we can answer some questions that you might have about the new mechanics. We'll go over all of them during the stream, but just in case someone is curious about something specific that we are adding to the game.
Yeah, so Harvey confirms the stream quality is good, and Livy Sim, yeah, the roasting.
Yeah, sure. We'll go over some of the roast beans and just go over some of the how the different scoring methods work and how you can improve your roast. Goes down to like improving your employees' roasting skill too. That also has a lot of impact. But we can talk a little bit more about maybe some techniques on how to get better at roasting. We'll be also adding a tutorial eventually. And the following weeks as we are adding more things to the beta, and that might also be helpful to just get a little bit deeper into the details of how roasting works and whatnot. But yeah, we'll be going over that during the live stream.
So 2:05, do you think it's okay, or should we?
Yeah, I think we can get going.
Alright, let me do it.
Okay.
Take your coaster here.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So welcome to the stream, the first ever Rift Studios stream. Welcome for those who are here, Livy and Harvey TV. Thank you for being here. So my name is Roberto. I'm a software developer engineer, and I'm kind of getting into this game stuff. So that's kind of my background. With me here, Mastermind Hector. So we'll talk a little bit about the whole roasting thing. But before going to that, I would like to have for you guys have a little bit of history regarding how CST came to be. So Hector, can you explain to our viewers how did you decide to kind of get into probably the gaming industry, and how did you create this awesome game?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so talking about Coffee Shop Tycoon, I mean, it's been a while since I first started with this idea, and it's been a lot going on in my life when making this game, because like I was basically getting out of college, and then I have always been like a big fan of games that had to do with like simulation and tycoons. For example, I grew up playing a lot of Roller Coaster Tycoon. Yeah, that was one of like my favorite games ever, and I started getting like interested in coffee, and I was thinking of why there's like a similar type of gameplay as like a Roller Coaster Tycoon or Suit Tycoon that will involve coffee, right? I mean, I had seen a lot of games for coffee shops, but they were more like the sort of like Facebook gaming, which you will only like kind of unlock like special tokens or whatnot, and just like only deal with decorations and things like that. And I wanted to make something that it will get a little bit more involved into the actual um, elements of coffee and how you could kind of manage this type of business. And that's where the idea for Coffee Shop Tycoon started. And we launched on early access a bit ago, but like basically we have been like redoing the game from the start and adding like a ton of features, new ways in which you can create coffee and new stores. This last update, we're adding the ability to also roast your own coffee and like customize the different bags in which you're selling your coffee. And we plan to keep adding features and get out of early access for next year. We have already a roadmap that we'll be publishing next to the final roasting release, like the roasting update release. And we'll explain more about some of the other things that we'll be adding to the game. Like, for example, we'll be dealing with allowing you to change the price of things. We'll be also working like on adding changes to the customers, the reward, the coffee, the Dulate Awards. We'll be doing changes to that, and we'll be talking more about that on the actual roadmap. But that's kind of like where we are now. And as some of you may know, we released a beta for the roasting update, and we plan on keep adding things to the beta until we get like the full version. And then that's where we will talk about more of the upcoming features. And for now, we're just focused on this roasting update. We'll go over the new mechanics and just show you how they work and answer any questions you may have.
All right, awesome, Hector. Thank you for that explanation. I heard that somebody had some issues with the sound. Probably you can tweak a little bit on your mic because somebody else is kind of okay. As I mentioned, this is our first stream, so we are kind of new to all this technology. So, or apologize for you guys. We're trying a new mic here, trying to get a little bit fancy with all this stuff. So please bear with us if you have any kind of issues with that. That's kind of the whole CST history thing. Another question: do you love coffee or not? I guess you do.
Yeah, I certainly do. So it's funny because when I actually started making the game, I was not like super into the coffee culture or anything. I I was I was the type of person that will just pour like enough sugar just to have a super sweet coffee like every day, and I just didn't. I mean, I enjoyed coffee, but like I didn't like get too deep into the details of coffee or anything. And actually, while working on this game is when I have had to like in order to decide how to design some of the mechanics. It's when I have actually had to study a little more about how coffee as an industry works and what are some of the things that make coffee special or not. And like on this last roasting update, I had to study a little bit about like the different bean varieties that there are and how the roasting works, like actually using a roaster. I haven't had the opportunity to actually use a real roaster, but it's just some of the things that you have to do while having to design new mechanics for a game. And I think that's something pretty cool about game development, is that you get to know a lot about the like different topics that are sometimes very random depending on what type of game that you're working on. And for this one specifically, I had to like read a lot about coffee, and that's where I started getting more into it.
All right. Actually, yes. When I joined the team, because I joined later to help and to develop this game with Hector here, he showed me actually all the kind of books he was like reading. It was like physics, science, or something like that. I didn't understand anything, but then I got a little bit better, and that's why I was able to join the team and all this kind of stuff. All right, so
Let's
Bro,
get to gameplay.
yeah, that's where people is here. So let's jump into that. I'll let the master do that demo to you guys. So we're going to go to the live demo. So all right, I'll now keep an eye on the chat. So let's do it.
Great. All right. So what I'm playing here right now is the beta that we have out for the roasting update. We currently have it out for Windows, but we'll be adding the Mac beta also this following week. So the first thing that you're seeing here is the new location that we're adding to the game. This is the fifth location of the world, and this is Emerald City. So this is inspired on a real building here on Seattle, and basically it's like a huge space in which you can start creating all your roasting. You can start buying all your roasters and start also adding some of the new items that we have added for customization. The missions on these locations are mainly focused on roasting, and this kind of helps you go along into like knowing how to improve your roastings, how some things that you need to like unlock, like different bean varieties and unlocking regions and whatnot. I'm gonna just go a little bit over like some of the new things that we are adding, especially talking about new items. And for example, we have this new workstation that now allows you to have up to 4 AirPods. This is something that we had limited before to 3, so it's just like an improvement, and it's also like a nice round shape that basically you can put in the middle of your shop. I'm gonna just start adding some employees so that we can start playing around with the new features. I'm just looking at the different stats. This one, it's probably I'm gonna assign this because I think the roasting stats on Wilburn are pretty good. So I'm gonna get your 2 assigned to the station. Let me go through the roles. Barista might be better here. Cashier. Cool. All right. I'm gonna do it just like the normal setup that you'll do in your shop. For people that is new to Coffee Shop Tycoon, basically you put your workstation, you hire employees or assign them. I already had these employees because I transferred them from another shop, but I'm just assigning them here. I'm gonna get a menu ready so that we can start offering all these options to the customers. Just gonna go some of these, and I'm not gonna go into like seasonal menus right now, but I'm just gonna get some machines. So I'm gonna buy a brewer. Hope we have enough money. I have the blender. What am I missing? I'm missing an espresso. Gonna get this one. All right, and I'm gonna order some of these supplies. I'm gonna order some coffee for now so we can start serving, and I'm gonna start roasting in a bit, but I want to go over the new area first on the HQ. So let me get this ready. All right, let's get time running so we can get some of those supplies, fresh supplies to our coffee shop.
Hector, do you think we can show the new items? I know that you were like purchasing some stuff. Not sure if you want to show that.
Sure. Yeah, I'll go over those in a bit. I'm just getting the store ready so we can actually start getting some real customers.
Perfect.
But yeah, I'm gonna go over that in just a second. All right, so while the supplies are going, I'm gonna actually go over some of the new items that we're adding so you can check them out. Cool, now we can open and we'll get customers. So as I was mentioning, you have new roasters. You have this one unlocked by default, which is your starter roaster. This will allow you to roast 1 bag of coffee. If you're familiar with how supply works, you can select 1 up to 3 different options for ordering coffee, and this basically allows you to do something similar This one allow you to make 1 pound of coffee, 2 pounds. I mean 2 pounds and 3 pounds. These two are still locked on the beta. We are working on adding new roasting challenges that will unlock this. We'll go more into that in the next section. But for now, just see that we have all these new roasters that you'll be able to play with. Similar to machines, that's something we wanted to focus a lot on the new update, and it's just like adding cool new machines.
Yeah.
Because I mean, a lot of making coffee, it's around all the gear that you use to make it. So some of the new things that we're adding is, for example, like a new grinder. This one you can actually unlock it on the beta right now with a milestone challenge. We are adding new espresso machines that have like better stats than the ones that were previously in the game.
Those machines look very good.
And you can also read some of the funny descriptions that we put on them. Hopefully you like them. We're also adding some new brewers. This was one of my favorites because it just like when you're brewing, you can actually see like the 4 different chambers filled with coffee.
Oh, okay.
And it just, I don't know, I kind of like how the animation
right?
that for that one.
Cool.
Not only machines, but we're also adding new items. So for example, if you go to decoration, that's one of the areas that we also wanted to improve quite a lot. And some of the new things are just a bunch more plants. We only had like this plant to begin with, but now we're adding like a Boston fern, snake plant, a cactus. We're adding also a monstera that you can see here, and this just add a lot of like nice ambience to your coffee shop. We're also adding new lamps, for example, like this polyhedron, a trifecta, the new classic, and this will also new additions to the game that will make your store look like maybe more modern if you like. And along those, we're also adding some of the more like roasting based kind of decorations. So for example, we have like this massive copper cask that you can put in your shop. I don't know if I want to put it now because it's it's very expensive, but I'll probably just put it, and hopefully I don't end up in bankrupt or something. But
wow,
I just showcase it here. We have also a couple of more wall decorations. Like we have these nice benzilas that you can put on the wall. We have also this flavor wheel that is just like if you've seen anything about like tasting coffee or cupping coffee, like flavor wheel is one of the tools that you use to aid you in detecting what kind of like aroma or tasting notes you can get from coffee. So it's one of the things that we also have this on the new roasting area, and we wanted to also allow you to put this on the store.
Actually, a quick fun fact for that one. That was one of that wheel was one of the kind of the documents I used to kind of generate the green bean, which we're going to see it later, to kind of to see all the notes and all those kind of things that I didn't understand at the beginning. But yeah, that was one of the documents that Hector showed me, so I was able to code something based on this thing. Yeah, go ahead, Hector.
Yep. A couple of more things. I mean, as you come from to expect on every update, we are adding new tables. We have this new arc table, and there was another one here. Trying to remember which one is it. Yeah, this one. We're also adding this new table. We're also adding this one, Sky Needle, which is also inspired on the Space Needle here in Seattle, just because of the shape of the base. We have new chairs too. This high rise, that is one of my like new favorite chairs. It's like a high table, a high chair that looks pretty nice, like on some of the like high table options that we have. Like for example, Arc is one of them. You can put this here, and we'll just put a couple of chairs. I still have money, yes.
Well, you can sell them, right?
Yeah, I can sell them, but they will not give me the full price. So
true.
But yeah, sorry if my decoration doesn't look super nice, but I'm just trying to show this out. All right, cool. So now that we shown some of the things that you can see here, I want to go now to the actual roasting area in the HQ, so we can see how the actual roasting works and some talk a little more about how we generated the green beans that you can see there, some of the regions that are there, the bean varieties and whatnot. So I'm just gonna go to the HQ, go to the new roaster area you can see here on store. And why don't you go over some of the things that you did to generate like these beans and how they work?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, Hector. Thank you. Yeah, as I mentioned, it was a lot of learning curve for me in terms of the whole coffee world. Not that I don't love coffee, but I didn't know all the details, right? So the notes on all these kind of processes, wash, wet, whatever. But yeah, so as you can see here, we have the green beans, which actually we were able to obtain kind of a database from a lot of types of green beans. So this is actual real beans which are all over the world. We got that the database. We created all these things in Coffee Shop Tycoon. So that all the data that you see here will be it's real, right? So that's why you'll see all this variety, the process, and we have the notes depending on the green bean. So it's was really challenging to get this, but yeah, I guess it's a really good feature, and this works really well with the roasting feature that Hector here is going to explain a minute. I don't know if I'm missing something that I should be mentioning, Hector.
We can go over some of the other screens here, just to get a little bit more context on these beans. So if you are looking at these beans, you might see that all of them come from Asia and have like these two different possible varieties. Possible notes categories. These are all from the Catimor variety, and we'll go a little bit more into that in a bit. So just a context, here we can have 4 different continents, and this is based on like the 4 different regions of the world that have coffee farms. Like we have some really good coffee coming from Asia, some parts of North America, South America, and also Africa. So we start out by having Asia unlocked. If you go here, you can actually see the possible varieties that are available on Asia and the different notes. Which notes come from which region is something that we might still tweak, but like for now, if you see Asia, you might get some of these notes when you're roasting coffee. And same thing with like different regions. Like if you go to Africa, you can see like all the other notes that you can get from there, and like different varieties. All this data about the varieties, it's fed by the green beans that we generated, which if I last time I checked, I think there were over 1,000.
1,300, yeah.
Okay, so we had like over 1,300 different coffee beans that you can choose from to roast, and based on which continent you have unlocked and which of the coffee varieties, you will see different options available, and this will enable you to complete different challenges or just like create different type of beans, and later also unlock some achievements that we're adding to the update. So this is the coffee variety screen. As I was talking before about varieties, here you can actually go and unlock the other varieties for the regions. You will need roasting points, which we'll talk a little bit more about that when we talk about roasting challenges, but just wanted to put this as a context with the green beans themselves. So why don't we actually go and roast some beans and see what that process looks like, and we can talk more about what it will allow you to make like good roasts and what things that you need to pay attention to.
Yeah, let's do it.
Right. So the first thing we do is that we're going to create a roasting profile. This is kind of like the recipe for making the coffee. So on real life, when you're roasting coffee, you basically take notes on what is the temperatures and the times and that you're using for your roaster, and then based on that, you can kind of know what type of flavor you will get from some beans. Like all the coffee beans are unique, but like if you are doing it from the same batch, you can kind of get like similar flavors. And there's also some companies that go all a step further to that, and they have like these blends that you see every year, and they basically kind of have like this roasting profile that they kind of tweak depending on the beans that they are getting, but they try to stay very close to the same flavor, and like roasting profiles is something that will allow you to do that. So in the game, the first thing you do is you select which bean you want to roast. In this case, I'll pick some that it's probably not going to expire super soon. So maybe this one, because we still have 14 minutes. And I'm going to select one of my employees that I want to use to roast. Depending on the skill, you will get better results, but you also need to have that employee on your store if you want to roast from there, because like lower level employees will not be able to roast beans that you can create with a like higher roasting skill employee.
Okay.
So I don't remember which one is the one that we had on the store, but I'm just gonna do the 133 because I think that the other one was higher level. So once you select your employee, you actually see the roasting screen. Here, this kind of like the graph that you will see like from a roasting software, and you can start roasting from here. This will start the machine. You can see the beans spinning here, and you can also play with time. So you can either click here or just use the keys 1 to 3, and that will play with the time. So I'm gonna speed it up a little bit because this first part is something that actually happens on real roasters. Is when the sensor, the temperature sensor actually gets like acclimated and just starts measuring the actual temperature of the beans, and that's why it starts decreasing, because first it's measuring the temperature of the actual roaster chamber of the cylinder, and then when you pour the beans, the temperature goes lower, right? Because like the beans are like a room temperature, and that's why you actually see the drop in temperature. So that's one of the things that we kind of simulated for this update. So as you can see now, we are starting to see some possible roasting notes, and this is where you want to actually play with the different temperatures. In this case, we just happen to be where the beanie note is. But if you want to actually get a different note, for example, like this dark green or peapod, you will need to be at a higher temperature.
Makes sense.
And some of the things that you can do here is that you can actually restart the roast, and you will see a graph or where you were previously. So this is super useful because you can now start again, and I can see that my temperature was raised here. So I can probably start my ignition a little bit before and maybe just make it hotter. And then I might be able to get into one of these notes. If it's not hot enough, then I'll probably just end up with the same note. But it's kind of what you want to do when playing with this. It's just like, oh, well, I was on the other note, so I want to get some of the notes that are on a higher temperature. And then you can just change your ignition and restart and use the graphs as a way to compare against your previous session. So in this case, I actually have like a super hot roaster, and I'm just probably gonna go past this note. In this case, it will give us a bad note, unfortunately, and that will not count towards the dull score for your roast. But that's kind of how you play along with this. So we got this musty RD.
But that's part of the challenge, right? No,
yeah.
So it's not that easy.
Exactly, but the cool thing is that you can speed things up with these settings, and you can restart and just try it again. And with different simulation times, you're actually pretty able to get like different rows super quickly and just try some things out.
And that's where the previous graph that you have is very helpful, because I mean you can take into consideration what you did wrong or right on your previous one, and then you can kind of have that as a blueprint for your next batch, right?
Exactly, and not just the last one. Like you can select different rows.
Oh.
So like, well, this is the only one that I have had before, but like when you start making more rows, you can actually select one specifically and say, like, for example, this is the one that I really like, what the flavors I was getting, and I'm just gonna use that one. And you can do that too. If you notice first crack, this is like an indication that you can actually, then we get a second one, you can actually finish your coffee after this. Like you can finish your roasting profile after this. And this is basically when if you were actually listening to the game, you start hearing like some like cracks, like if you were if you had like popcorn on the microwave, and that what means is that the coffee is actually starting to split, and it's pretty much ready. From this point on, like if you keep going and going and going, you will get up to the second crack, and that's where it just gets a little darker. If you are familiar with things like French roast, for example, that's where they are at that temperature. And if you keep going past that, it will eventually burn out your coffee. And we haven't added like any like flaming like flames particles or anything, but like this point basically your coffee just sucks. um, as part of the beta, the burnt property actually doesn't give you bad points right now, but it's something that we are working on adding. And basically at the time that it's gonna be burnt, all the points for your tasting nuts will go to 0 because you're not gonna be able to taste anything right now. It's just gonna taste like cigarettes or something.
That's terrible.
So I'm gonna try again.
Let's do one like a cool one.
Yeah, maybe try to get some actual good notes so that we can. I'm gonna use the first one as a reference, so we can see maybe like a kind of good coffee that we can sell in the store. The roasting skill for the employee I choose what it's not like super good, so we'll not actually get like a super high graded coffee, but like we can start selling that on the store and we can show how that works.
All right, so you're saying that the roaster, the employee, will kind of play into these roasting mechanics, right?
Yeah, so once we get past this, we'll actually see where what is the score of our coffee.
Okay.
And we will go over more detail into what actually counts there.
Perfect.
Okay, so I'm gonna raise my temperature so I can get the other notes here. Probably gonna decrease here, so maybe we can end up with a pepper note. I don't know if you want a coffee that tastes like pepper, but maybe the smell is nice. So
yeah, but I think that you are aiming for the cinnamon kind of a note at the end.
I'm gonna actually turn off the roaster here so that we go into that note, because I don't want to go past that.
Yeah.
Because pepper and olive oil, I mean, it's good for food, but
yeah, I think you're going to make it.
Okay, so cinnamon, pepper is more like cinnamon spice. I think that's gonna be nice, and just gonna increase my temperature so that we can get past the first crack and be ready to.
So just to understand the graph that you have, so every step that you have, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and it goes up and down. That means when you increase and decrease the heat, right? So okay, perfect.
Yeah, so this is like the heat level. You can change this with decrease or increase heat, or you can even turn it off completely with ignition.
Correct.
And these are based on like some of the real buttons that you see on a roaster. So that's why we also chose those colors and those names and ordering and whatnot.
Perfect.
So I paused the simulation here, but like first crack is ready, and we're on a light roast here, and I'm just gonna finish there. So we go to the actual results screen. From here, you can see all the different points being applied to your final score. In this case, since we have a low quality variety, this is not actually contributing any points, but if you get like better varieties, you will also add that to the final score.
Hector,
yep.
Livy Sim have a question. Is there a way to avoid bad notes?
Yeah, so in order to avoid bad notes, you just need to be able to basically roast at the temperature of the notes that are available. So once you start roasting, you can see those notes start to appear, and that basically tells you what is the temperature that you need to hit in order to get any of those notes. So if you get any of those notes, doesn't matter which one, you will avoid a bad note. If for some reason your temperature is too low or too high, then you will get a bad note. You can get up to 3 notes at the roast. You can probably say like, I just want to finish my roast with 1 note or 2 notes, or just actually get the 3 notes. It adds more risk, right? Because if you get 2 good notes and then you get a bad note, then well, you will have a coffee with one bad note, and then there's like some challenges that will prevent you from completing it with bad notes. But that's like the whole thing, right? It's just like select the correct temperature and just try to get within those spaces so that you don't get any bad note. All right, so we got 70 points. This is still considered below specialty. This is based on like the official grading used for coffee, which above 80 points is like considered specialty coffee, and it just gives you different different levels. Like you get like good coffee up to exceptional, I think it is. But right now we're below specialty, and this is mainly because our bean variety is like a low quality, and also our roaster is not like super experienced. So that's what we're getting. But this can improve that drastically if you just either train your roaster or have it roast in your store, because that also improves their skill, or start unlocking more varieties that will give you some additional points here. So once we are past this, I'm gonna hit continue, and this is where we can actually see the back grader. This is a feature that we worked on with a new artist called Brittany, that she made like all the different illustrations that you can see here on this bag, and just gonna go over the process of actually creating a bag for your coffee and have like some sort of branding to your new creation. You wanna go over this?
No, I'm going to let you do that, but let me comment something here. So when Hector was doing this feature, he was like kind of sending me all of these screenshots and everything. I was like, wow, this really looks good. And actually, I like when he was like, and he will show in a second. How did he create all those things? As he mentioned, we work with another designer, and all the designs are awesome. So I'll let Hector explain the whole bagging system or bag creator system, because it's really cool. I was kind of amazed on that. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, so when you're here, after you've finished roasting your coffee, you can actually go and start adding some elements to your bag. We have different patterns you can add just apply the whole bag. And then you have like some basic shapes that you can also add, just to add a little bit more decorations. You have some labels you'll expect from like a coffee bag. And you can also add your logo. This will actually have the logo that you have currently on your store selected. Not only that, but you can also add some text. So the cool thing about text that I really like how it ended up is that this actually matches to the properties of the coffee, so that you can save a design and then you can just like these labels will update to that coffee different properties, so you don't have to like retype anything or something like that. Just load the design and then it'll just apply that to your coffee. So I'm just gonna start out by adding some of the patterns, and you can color them here. I don't know what type of color I want, but maybe like a dark. Wait, what if we make something kind of Halloween?
Halloweeny, yeah. This is really cool.
All right, so I'm gonna add some basic shapes, maybe something like this. It's gonna have like this type of style. I'm gonna add, in this case, I don't know if we want to add these shapes or not. Maybe we don't need to. Yeah, I think I'm gonna add any of these, but I'm actually gonna start adding the name. So the notes that you can see here, beanie, pepper, cinnamon, if you add like the coffee notes here, this will actually update to all those notes. You can kind of play with the different fonts that we have. This I kind of like this font for Halloween. It's gonna put this white. Maybe make it a little bit larger. So do we have a name for this? Get creative.
Get creative. Well, on the spot. I don't know, my friend.
Any Halloween-esque name?
Is spooky beanie or bean.
Spooky.
I don't know. Yeah, on
All
the
right.
spot. I'm not that funny, man.
All right, it's gonna be named Spooky Bean. You can ask Robert. You can thanks Roberto for the name.
Sorry about that.
So I'm gonna also use the Creepster font here. I'm probably also gonna use white, and I'm gonna add some of the other properties. So it's coming from Laos, and I'm also gonna add the region here. Maybe we do want something to have this show up here. Gonna probably add maybe this one. Yeah, I think I kind of like this one. You can also play with the layers, so that's kind of nice too. Okay, copy notes here. All right, so I'm gonna put this here, and I'm gonna put the region here. This is gonna be also on the Creepster font, white. And what else can we add? Maybe the process is also another of the properties of the coffee. Here, oops, Creepster, and I think that's good. I actually don't like how this one looks here, but I'm gonna put it here and just put this maybe like black or something. Yeah. Process. All right, so it's not a perfect design, but you get the idea, right? So cool thing you can do is that you can save your design, and that's like something nice that you can play with here, so that you don't actually need to recreate the design every single time, and you can just like play around with the same design. So I'm just gonna save as Halloween. This saves the design, and then you can see that we have the Halloween design here. You can load a different design, for example, and then it will just change those properties into the new design, right? So that's what I was talking about, the different strings actually updating into the properties of the coffee. So once we have this ready, we can finish coffee beans, and then you can see them here. Like we can see the different notes that we got, the grading, different properties, which if a light roast and this one, and this is the skill of the roaster, right? And with that, I'll leave it to you so that you can talk more about what roasting can enable, like how this works with challenges and whatnot.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about the challenges, right?
Yep.
Okay, so challenges was one of the features that we added to the game. I mean, the game already have some kind of missions and stuff, but we want to kind of get all these great feature about roasting. Put a challenge mechanism which is going to feed you some random challenges based on whatever we're doing. So and that in that way you get these roasting points, right? So let's get into that. So we're in the roasting profile. Let me just close this window once more. So how do you get there? So it's going to be in the HQ here in the roaster. So you'll click the roaster, and you'll see this window that we already have. So where is it? Here in the new challenges. So you can click here. So one of the things, we already complete one challenge. Perfect. That's very good. So as you can see, we were having 3 challenges at a time. We decided to have these. We're going to play around with how many challenges do we have. So all this is part of beta testing that we're doing. So we're going to refine some of those things as well as the rewards. So this is the roasting challenge window. And you can see here that we have completed once. And as you can see, we already completed it. So we have to collect those rewards. So the way you collect the rewards, just click this and it's going to get you some money. So if you see in the top left or right side, in theory, I should get that money. So let's see that. So money, boom.
It's not broken.
Yeah, we did not broke the whole thing. All right, so we have done another challenge here. But what I want to mention is that the mechanics of the roasting challenge is you're going to get these 3 random base on your profile, on your save profile, challenges. All right, so you should not get anything that you cannot unblock. Also, those challenges can have one to many objectives, and depending on those objectives, is going to grant you more money. Let's say, for example, this one that we have here, it says this is an objective. Because it does have just one objective, I'm going to give you this kind of money. If you have two objectives of different kind, because as you can see, we have I need to do a special grade 2 times. Because I haven't finished that, it's not marked there. But because it's just one objective, it's going to give me that kind of money. If I have 2, it's going to give me more. And if I get 3, I'm going to get more. So how is this logic, or how do we decide how many objectives and all those kind of things? That's another story, coding story. But I will not get into those details. But hopefully this is going to get you guys excited, and this is how you're going to collect those roasting points that you will need in order to unblock new continents and varieties, or new machines, and all those kind of things that we have added into this release. Anyway, other things we can, as you can see, there is something here called time remaining. This is also random. We decided to have challenges which will be like, oh, I'm going to expire, so you have to finish me. And if you don't want to finish it, okay, that's going to be fine. But we have that kind of mechanics in which challenges will expire. So you are kind of in the edge, like, I need to finish this thing. And if you don't finish it, you're going to miss those rewards. So let me just try to collect this one. Perfect, everything is working fine. So awesome. If you don't like one challenge, you can skip it. Unfortunately, you cannot skip like generate a lot of random challenges, right? So we wanted to keep this a little bit like you need to kind of wait for those challenges to be generated, so you cannot just delete them. You can delete one at a time, and then you will need to wait a little bit. Or if you want to kind of do that challenge, go ahead and do it. All right. I believe that's what we need. And as you can see, we're not going to feed you a lot of challenges. We're going to be generating these challenges also. That's we can configure in our side, but we're going to play with these things, mechanics, depending on the feedback that we have from the beta testing and all those kind of things. So we're going to redefine all these mechanics as well. But yeah, this is great stuff to start. Not sure what else should be asking here or saying.
Yeah, so before we go back to the store, I just want to first double check that we still have some time to roast this coffee, because I don't want it to okay, we still have 7 minutes. Okay, so just one final thing I wanted to mention is, as you can see, we have one milestone here, and we're gonna go about that in the store, but I just wanted to show you where it is. And this basically is, we're gonna be adding milestones that will allow you to unlock different machines in your store. It will allow you to unlock different regions, and just like more things that you can play with. For now, we only have one milestone, but we'll be adding those to the beta, and you will start seeing more of these with all the new machines that we added. All right, so I'm gonna go back to the store, and I'm gonna actually show you where those new beans are. So if you actually add a roaster and you assign an employee to the roaster, we still had one employee that's not assigned. This one, you can assign it to a roaster. You can see also now the 2 options here if you actually have a roaster. Now he's on the roaster, and this works kind of like any of the other machines in which you click and you can do something. You can click here, and you should be able to see a roasting profile here. Live demo.
That's what happens sometimes.
Yeah, let me see what happened. I don't know if it like Oh, did it expire? Yeah, I think the timer was probably not correct. But I'm just gonna do like one super quick roast. It's probably gonna suck, but I just wanna go over that and show you how it shows on the store. So
So even if you create like a very bad roasting, you can sell it, right?
yeah, you can sell
Okay.
pretty bad coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, your customers might not like it, but like for this demo, it's gonna be like, well, it's a demo, so you just have to deal with bad coffee. So gonna increase the temperature here, so I just get to the have like a light roast super quickly, and just wanna show you that. Oh, we got one note, and almost. We're almost past the first crack. Cool. Just gonna not wait for the other nodes. I'm just gonna also call this spooky because we already had the spooky beans. I'm just gonna rename it spooky, and that's it. So this was 64 points. You can see it was less. It had less score. But now we're back here. So you can actually now see the bean here. If you click on roast, then your roaster will start the process of creating this coffee. And this, in the end, gives you just some beans that you can use the same way that ordering any supply will do. So once this process finishes, you get your coffee ready notification, and then if you go to your supply, you will see the coffee here. And this has like all the notes, the grading that we mentioned, and everything, so that you can go to your brewer or your espresso and just select those beans and brew. And that's how you get your original coffee into your store.
So that's kind of the full circle kind of thing, right? So you start with a roaster, you add the beans there, you create a profile, you bag it, then you send it to your store, and then you have this roaster master doing the roasting over there, and then you will sell that coffee. So that's kind of the full cycle, right?
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and so you will be able to see now your customers ordering that coffee. I don't know if like, well, we can see the points here, but this one I actually didn't order that. Anyway, once you're here, I wanna now go back to the milestone that we were talking about, and just go back to the machines and something that we're changing here, which is important regards to the actual process of roasting. If you see the machines now, they have a max brewing quality. This is based on like the level of the machines. If you get like the first ones, like this one is like a 70, you go up all the way to the last brewers, it just goes up to 100. And what is interesting about this is that now also the machines that you have will allow you to get better coffee. And why we want to get better coffee? And that's because your employees now have different expectations for what a coffee should be. So this is based again on the reputation levels, as like some of the other features on the customers have. But like, for example, this customer was expecting a coffee of at least 65 points. And the one that we're selling is 80 points. And this is mainly because not the one that we just created, which kind of sucked, but the other coffee that we had available before had 80 points. So once you start reaching new reputation levels, you will need to start roasting better and better coffee, because the beans available for your store, like the ones that are by default on the game, only go up to 80 points. So if you want to get any coffee above that, you'll need to roast it. And in order to sell that level of quality, you'll need to get a machine that can roast, that can brew that quality of coffee, right? Right now we don't have like a lot of penalty for not matching these expectations, but that's some of the things that we're tweaking with the update and just trying to see what is like a good balance between all the different stat of the customers, like the service and quality, which also takes into account like the other barista skill properties of your employees and whatnot. But something that we're playing with.
Perfect. Hector, great question here. Will you be ever able to sell bags of the original coffee to customers?
Um, by setting up the original coffee, do you mean like these ones that you can order, or just like actual bags on the store? Like if you went to a coffee shop and then you will be able to buy like a full bag.
Yeah, I think that that's the question is like you create this, you roast, right, and then you create the bag. It's like a very nice looking bag, and it's like instead of selling coffee, now you're selling that bag to the customers.
Yeah. Yeah, so if it's like actually selling the bag of coffee itself, we have like played about like, well, we have thought about some of the ways that you can sell like things in your store besides coffee, like maybe you will be able to have like some merch or stuff like that. But we still haven't decided like how we want to play with this, and this is something that will be nice, that if we're able to sell the actual coffee that you just created on the store. There's like some things that we'll deal with. For example, like this design and everything is just like a flat to the design, right? So it's not like we're actually making textures for like a 3D model or anything. But I mean, we could have like some sort of like default 3D model, and then you will know that it's actually the kind of coffee that you're selling. It's the ones that you have selected, but I don't know. We'll need to generate new textures, but it's something that we can certainly look into. At this time, we don't have it yet on our roadmap, but it's something that will be interesting to play with. So you can sell maybe like different merch like on your store, like some stores that actually sell like, for example, cups and whatnot, and also start selling maybe your own coffee. But yeah, thanks for the question, and it's something that we can look into. Okay, so what else are we missing from the blade?
Level Sim actually love the Merc kind of thing that you just
Oh,
explained.
okay. Yeah, yeah. I think it's also good. It will be something cool that we will have on the store, but we still have to go through the process of like designing the feature and see what that will look like with the other game mechanics. But I think that's kind of it. I'm trying to think if there's anything missing.
We went through the milestones, bean ratings.
Yeah, so the last thing I mentioned was like the bean ratings. Oh, there's one thing missing.
What?
Yes. So not only your customers will expect different levels of grading for coffee. Also, now we're changing a little bit how the reputation level works.
All right.
So for some people that have played before, like you know that this goes up to some like silver bean, bronze bean, and golden bean ratings. And we are adding one more level, which is like diamond bean, which is the last that you can get, and they'll also get you new achievements. But we're changing a little bit the requirements to getting to these levels. So I'm gonna go to some of the other stores I have, which I have currently on bronze bean, so you can see what I mean. If you go over the top now, you will see that it's not only required to have certain popularity and a decor rating, but also to sell coffee of certain quality. So here it's asking for a coffee of at least 85 points. So in order to do this, you will need to unlock the necessary machines that can brew coffee up to that level, and you will need to roast coffee that goes to that level. In this case, the requirement is to sell 20 units of that coffee. And this is the same for the other levels. It just asks for 20 units, but like this number gets higher. So I think in order to achieve golden bean, it goes to 90, I think. And for diamond bean, it goes to 95 points. So if you're getting a store that has like diamond bean, it means because you are just roasting some really amazing coffee, and you have like the top of the line machines that can kind of pull that off. Right now on the beta, since we haven't unlocked the other machines with the milestones, with the milestone challenges that we're gonna add, the best machine that you can get for brewing coffee is the siphon brewer. This will get you up to 85 points. So if you get the Siphon Brewer by buying the Triton rival store, you can get from here. If you buy this company, you'll get this brewer, and then this will allow you to actually brew coffee up to 85 points. So it's just up to you to roast some coffee that is on that level, and then get that machine, and that will get you to the silver bean rating level. And once we add the remaining milestones, then you will just be able to basically go up to 100 if you want. If you get like these fancy new machines that were created by our artist Gabby, and you can kind of get up to this level and have like the ultimate coffee you can sell in your store. And that's basically it for what we're adding. We're still playing around with the balancing of things, as Roberto mentioned, like how many money or points we want to give you with the challenges, how often they show up, how long they last. Also for coffee, like how long coffee lasts before expiring, the green beans, and how many stock they have, for example. It's things that we're still balancing and playing at, and we'd like to hear from your feedback, and just play with this around with you and see what kind of strikes like a good balance for like a nice gameplay. And that's about it. I don't know if there's like any additional questions that you might have about the upcoming updates, something that you want to know about, maybe Coffee Shop Tycoon in general. We'll be here for some minutes in case that someone has a question, and we'll just be looking at the chats. Do you want to add something, Roberto?
Yeah, thank you for that, Hector. So yes, that is basically the huge release that we have. It has been a lot of work. Hector Mastermind with all the. If you see the whole roasting thing and all the documentation that you need to do to kind of go through that graph is not just like drawing something. It have a lot of numbers and formulas over there. So it's
simulation.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, my hats out to Hector for that. But yeah, that's basically the release. We hope that it fills your expectations. And we're going to stay here a couple of minutes as.
We actually have one more question.
All right, more questions.
So Leonardo is asking, what if we don't get that quality of the coffee? What happens? So in this case, like as any of the other stats for your customers, you might get like less reputation. You might get customers that are not as happy. Right now, it doesn't have a lot of impact because we also have a lot of other indicators of how good your coffee shop is doing, like flavor matches and time service and like these bonuses and whatnot. But we want to play around with this to basically affect how happy our customers are. We have some other features that we are planning on, feature updates that I don't want to spoil right now, but we'll also take that into consideration. Then it'll be also important for your shop. But right now it's just gonna affect the happiness and your customers, and it's basically gonna prevent you from going into higher reputation levels for your shop. And a good thing of having a high reputation for a shop is that with that, it means that you get more customers, and that more customers means just more money to your shop and more things you can do and unlock and whatnot. So right now, that's how it affects your store. And as I mentioned, that feature will also play a lot into another update that we're planning on. But we'll talk more about that when it's time.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that answer, Hector. Yes, as we mentioned, keep the questions coming. If you want to ask something related to us, to whatever we have here in the room, any personal questions that you want to ask, Coffee Shop Tycoon questions. I will stay here for a couple of minutes and see the chat if there's something. But yeah, I think that was great. Also, I want to ask if you have any feedback regarding the stream. As we mentioned in the beginning, This is our first time. We were kind of very nervous about doing this, exposing ourselves to the internet, which is sometimes could be a little hateful, but first time. So thank you for the people that is here. We are really humbled to show our work here. I don't know if you have any other words, Hector, for that.
Sergio says hello from Monterrey. Hello. We're actually from Mexico, so I mean, I know you, Sergio, so I know you know that, but like for all the people here, we're also from Mexico, and we've just been living here for. I have been living here for over 6 years now. What have you?
Yeah, 10 years. We have been me. Not sure. We are here in Seattle, Washington, or generally Washington.
There's one. So there's one mention of a bug. I don't know if we put it on the known issues, but one of the things that there's currently a bug when you have your supply specialization, and if you have the 2 stars being selected, it will fail to order beans. If you have 1 star, it will order them, and I think it will also do if you have like specific coffee beans. But yeah, that's a known issue that we plan to fix. We actually gonna tweak that a little bit because stars now don't make sense given how coffee is graded, since we're moving away from that star system. So we're gonna make some changes on the supply specialization to account for that. But yeah, it's something we know that we're gonna fix, and thank you for bringing it back to our attention.
Coming back to the Monterrey thing, and Hector mentioned that we're from Mexico. Yes, we met here actually in United States. I'm working on the same company. And then our love of the games brought us a little bit together on this project, and that's why we're doing this. Very excited about that.
There's another question: if we're planning to do live streams more often. Well, I don't know. If you like the live stream, then let us know, and we'll probably do it. I mean, we're not like professional streamers or anything, but we can certainly talk more about like features that we're developing and some things that we are getting out of the gates with Coffee Shop Tycoon. So we can probably do some streams about that, about the updates, the changes, tweaks, whatnot. And yeah, if you're interested, just let us know and we can do it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I really enjoy it. It's not like this is something new, as we mentioned, from Hector and me. We were really nervous about that. Obviously, we're working on the setup. We don't know too much about the whole software thing. I did a little bit of research. We have this mic.
About the streaming setup.
Yes, the streaming setup. So we try our best to have it working. Obviously, the room is not like a gaming kind of well, I would like to have some more like
we need more RGB.
RGB, all those kind of things. But yeah, if you love it, the stream, definitely it's something that you guys can see us playing or discussing new features or new bugs or new whatever. I don't know. We'll have to discuss that, but yeah, let us know if anything like video quality, sound quality. Right now we're sharing this same mic, so I'm not sure if that kind of works. What will be better, but yeah, I really enjoy it actually. Not sure about you.
Yeah, I think it's sounding well. I haven't actually heard the stream, but I think like people are seeing like a good quality of the stream. I'm happy with that, and yeah, I mean it's our first experiment. Hopefully we can meet you another time and just keep talking about the games or any future games that we are planning on. If there's no further question, I think we're gonna end up here. And
yeah, I don't see any more.
Okay, well, there's just like people are loving the stream, so thank you for that. We're probably gonna keep doing this now. So we have actually signed now a contract that we're doing more live streams.
Okay, a verbal contract and video. It's all right. Perfect.
All right, cool. Well, we'll see you next time as we keep working on this update and adding new things to the game. And thank you for being here. Thank you for playing. And we'll be also on Discord. If you you can get the link from the Steam store page or our Rift Studios Twitter, and we'll be talking about more about the game there, and you can talk with us directly on Discord, ask any questions or anything you may get. And also a good thing about Discord is that you get some custom logos for your store. So if you join and then playing if you go to the select what type of drink you love, you get some cool logos for your store. So hopefully we see you there. And transition. Hopefully we see you there, and happy Halloween to everyone. I hope you get a lot of candy. And in my case, I prefer chocolate, so I hope I get a lot of chocolate.
Yeah, happy Halloween, happy Dia de los Muertos, and yeah, we'll continue doing this. Signing out. See you later then. Bye bye.
Enjoy your coffee.